Hi there, and welcome to another episode of This Day in History. I'm Vicki Bowers, and it's so good to have you here as we kick off a brand new year together, January 1st. More than just a page on the calendar. It's a fresh start, a blank slate, a time to reflect on the year behind us as we look ahead with hope and determination. Today, we're going to dive into some fascinating topics that feel perfect for this moment, from the meaning and history of the word fortuitous, an apt choice for a day steeped in possibility, chance, and good fortune, to the rich traditions surrounding Blackeyed Peas and their connection to New Year's luck and prosperity. We'll also look back at a defining moment in history that forever altered the course of America's history. And finally, we'll sweeten things up with a bit of music, exploring Judy Collins' warm and heartfelt song, Cook with Honey. Whether you're here for the history, the food traditions, the language insights, or the music, I hope today's episode brings a little inspiration and joy to your start of 2024. Let's get started. Here we are, back at the beginning again, January 1st. January 1st is the first day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, with 364 days remaining to the end of the year, 365 if it happens to be a leap year. January 1st is also known as New Year's Day, since it marks the beginning of the year. Today's word is fortuitous. As I was looking through the material for today's episode, the word fortuitous came to mind. Feels like I might have talked about fortuitous in the past, but I couldn't find it, so maybe I've just used it in a few episodes while talking about something else. It's a great word. Fortuitous is an adjective that means happening by chance or accident, often with a positive or lucky outcome. The word fortuitous comes to us from a Latin word that meant by chance. Since the word came to English, its meaning has evolved to include fortunate or lucky outcomes that occur apparently by chance. Some example sentences could include that the discovery of the ancient artifact was completely fortuitous, as the archaeologists stumbled upon it while hiking. Or, it was fortuitous that the rain stopped just in time for the outdoor wedding to proceed as planned. Or, she marked the taking off of her writing career with the fortuitous meeting of a renowned editor at the cafe. First known use of the word fortuitous is in the 1650s. Fortuitous. Now, we talked a little bit about black-eyed peas yesterday, and I told you then that today I'd tell you why. So we'll talk about black-eyed peas, those small cream-colored legumes with the distinctive black spot. They come originally from West Africa, and they've been cultivated since prehistoric times, made their way to the Americas during the transatlantic slave trade. In the United States, especially in the South, black-eyed peas have become a culinary staple. There's a tradition involving black-eyed peas of enjoying them on New Year's Day. It's believed that eating these legumes brings good luck and prosperity for the coming year. I remember my grandma Susie saying black-eyed peas on New Year's Day for good luck. So I asked her, how do black-eyed peas on New Year's Day mean good luck? Her explanation was that black-eyed peas are humble fare, and beginning the year on such a humble note leaves room for things to get better. Like if you start out at the bottom, there's nowhere to go but up. There's a legend that during the war between the states, when the Union armies roared through the South, they pillaged the Southerners' food supplies but left the black-eyed peas, thinking them animal food and unfit for human consumption. I don't know how accurate that is, but it does make a good story. There's also an association of black-eyed peas with Emancipation Day, which we'll talk about in just a moment. Black-eyed peas are just one member of a family known as cow peas. Other kinds of cow pea that we like a lot are crowder peas and pink-eye purple hulls. My friend Sue's mother, Mildred, always grew a nice big patch of pink-eye purple hulls. And she would put them up in jars ready to heat and eat. Inspired by her example, I try to have a patch of pink-eye purple hull beans whenever I grow a garden. Mildred also taught me how to make biscuits. She didn't use a recipe at all, so I just watched along as she made them and wrote everything down. And to this day, I keep that recipe in my book listed as Mildred's Biscuits. Mr. B introduced me to Crowder peas, and we like those a lot too. Smaller, mostly brown Crowder peas. Back to today, though, black-eyed peas are a nutritional powerhouse. They're rich in protein, fiber, and essential vitamins, making them a healthy addition to various dishes, and they fit seamlessly into many meals. There's also some symbology to some of the other things that are often good with or eaten with black-eyed peas. For example, they're often cooked with some sort of pork flavoring like bacon or ham bones and onion, and may also be served with some sort of greens such as cabbage, collard, turnip, or mustard greens, and cornbread. Since the peas swell when cooked, that represents prosperity. The greens symbolize money, and because pigs root forward when foraging, this is said to represent positive motion. And cornbread, being yellow, represents gold. How about that? So whether you're savoring them for their flavor, their health benefits, or as part of a time-honored tradition, black-eyed peas hold a special place in both our kitchens and our cultural heritage. Black-eyed peas. On January 1st, 1863, during the American War between the states, President Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation, declaring that all enslaved people in the Confederate States are and henceforward shall be free. The executive order applied specifically to the 10 states in rebellion, leaving slavery untouched, and the border states loyal to the Union, and certain Confederate areas already under Union control. While the proclamation didn't immediately free all enslaved individuals, it fundamentally transformed the character of war, adding a moral force to the Union cause and paving way for the eventual abolition of slavery across the entire nation. Moreover, it authorized the enlistment of African American men to the Union Army and Navy, allowing nearly 200,000 black soldiers and sailors to join the fight for freedom. The Emancipation Proclamation also had significant international implications, effectively preventing European nations from intervening on behalf of the Confederacy. Although it was a crucial step toward ending slavery, complete abolition was achieved later with the ratification of the 13th Amendment in December of 1865. As I researched and wrote what would become today's episode, a voice and lyric phrase began to run through my mind, and it took me a while to pin it down. Did that ever happen to you? But I did find it, and it's Cook with Honey by Judy Collins. It's written by Valerie Carter and popularized by Judy Collins. She included it as the opening track on her 1973 album, True Stories and Other Dreams, which reached number 27 on the Billboard Pop Albums chart. The song's lyrics evoke a warm communal atmosphere, emphasizing themes of love, kindness, and togetherness. The chorus, I always cook with honey to sweeten up the night, uses honey as a metaphor for adding sweetness to life and relationships. The sentiment encourages listeners to infuse their interactions with love and compassion, enhancing the quality of shared moments. My grandmother did always say, you can get more flies with honey than you can with vinegar. The songwriter Valerie Carter was an American singer-songwriter known for her collaborations with artists like Jackson Browne and James Taylor. She initially performed Cook with Honey with her band Howdy Moon before Collins' rendition brought the song into wider recognition. Cook with Honey remains a notable example of Judy Collins' ability to interpret and popularize contemporary folk songs. contributing to her enduring influence in the folk music genre. Cook with Honey by Judy Collins, link in the description. And that brings us to the end of today's journey through history, culture, and tradition. Thank you so much for spending part of your New Year's Day with me. We've talked about how a chance meeting or discovery, fortuitous moments, can lead to great things, much like how we approach a new year with optimism and hope. We looked at the rich history and symbolism of black-eyed peas, a dish as humble as it is meaningful, and looked back at one of the most significant milestones in the fight for freedom in America. And let's not forget the beautiful sentiment of Judy Collins' Cook with Honey, a reminder to add sweetness to our lives and relationships as we move forward. As we begin this new year, may your days be filled with fortuitous moments, meaningful traditions, and a little extra sweetness. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share if you've enjoyed today's episode. It's one small way to spread a little inspiration to others. Happy New Year, everyone. And I think that's going to do it for us today. Thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to share this video with a link in your email, messaging, or social media. If you enjoy this series, you can check out the playlist that contains these videos. I'll put a link to that in the description. That playlist lives on YouTube, so for other platforms, I'll include a link to my blog page. It's called No Really. You can also find me on Rumble, BitChute, and Odyssey. All those links in that description. Alrighty, that's all I can think of right now. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.